Want to find out how this half of the month is panning out for your zodiac sign and how to get the best out of it? Come and join YILDIZ Readings 5D and we'll have a look. A very warm welcome to YILDIZ Readings 5D. For those of you that don't know, I'm a psychic medium. I cover astrology, soul coaching, twin flame path and more. I am live weekly, so please click the bell and subscribe. And if you do want more creative content like this, come and join the tribe. Additionally, we have the members zone, so if you do want the creative content early and have a coaching room, we do have the join button. For all booking information, the link is directly below. Without further ado, let's get into the update for your zodiac sign for your bi-monthly report. For all the dates, retrogrades and aspects occurring, as well as the great days and the difficult days, I have created a report after this update for your zodiac sign and it is incorporated inside. You can stream forward now or let's jump into your update. Hi beautiful Leo, welcome back. We're here to have a look at your romance house. This is for couples, singles, twin flames and soulmates. If you do want a private booking, yes, you can go to the link below. We're also having a look at your career sector, your family, your money and your emotional report. And towards the end of the video, we have the aspects on the screen, the important dates, the great dates and how to navigate them. So without further ado, let's have a look at your love life. Okay, the area of love. Let's have a deep dive into the area of love for you, Leo. Now, this has been a challenging few months entering into 2021. So love and thoughts towards you and all. In the area of your home and family, the reason I mention home and family in love is because a lot of things spiritually may have been coming up last month that could have been affecting your love life. This may have been for those of you that have children. This may have been because of our value systems and how we were raised and what we believe a solid connection is, be it coupled or single. Also, due to the fact that Juno is retrograde in the marriage house, it does for you link back to your values and again, your conditioning. A lot of projects are changing around and a lot of dynamics are happening on your home front and balance is required. But you very personally were going through a very transformative stage. So one could say it was like a snake shedding its skin. I feel you're coming out of it this month and into a window of a rebirth. And the way you are looking at love is going to be very, very different. You will be moving beyond the wound, digging deep and looking at solutions to problems, as well as wanting to look at the new direction of how you're going to tackle areas. Now, this can be for those of you who are coupled and have children. This can be also those of you who are wanting to have a connection or take it to the next level. And if you are in a connection that is testing and toxic, this can be a time where it winds back and winds down. But this will be a spiritual choice, especially if it's affecting your psychology. I do feel if stress levels do come up, you will very much communicate directly to individuals. And I do feel a lot of you have been putting a lot of pressure on yourself relating to family and what your requirements are. Some of you had really felt you couldn't express what your feelings were, and a lot of those wounds did remain pretty much in your 12th house, and you can be at war with them this month. So try and take some time for self, especially a great time to journal. Many people from the past can be coming back, especially while you're out and about. Now, I do feel you're really looking at who's matching with you, be it you're together or you're not. You're going to be looking at wanting to have fun, wanting to have some hopes and dreams, wanting to be able to build on a foundation and move forward. This also can be a very beneficial time, and some of you can be meeting people through work or employment. You are going to look extremely attractive this month. It's almost like you're turning over a new leaf. You could be changing your health up, which we will go into in a moment. But it's really where you're feeling more, you're looking at what is going to work and, you know, what work you're willing to put into connections and what work another person is. But you may be tapping into your Venus energy, which is making you super attractive this month. There can also be crosswise when it does come to communication. So pay attention to the communication house. And be open to last minute dashes. And last minute dashes can be super positive. If somebody is asking you out for a date for a coffee, take it where it is. I do feel many of you can be using the first 2 weeks to really understand and see things of where you stand and what you're needing out of connections, not just what the connection is, but what you are needing and how you directly have changed. And I feel as we move forward, more will make sense. A little bit more confusion can come up, but we can get a little bit agitated this month. So pay attention to your mind, body, and soul. Keep things very organized. And I'll give you tips throughout this video to cope with the transits to get the best out of it. On to family and home. I feel the area of family and home has been deeply transformative for you, and I feel this has been both emotional and physical. I feel a lot of you are saying goodbye to the old version of yourself, and a lot of memories may have come up relating to people that have passed over, old cycles, old things, and those gorgeous wounds that come up unexpectedly. Very much the paradigms of your values versus family may have come through in your walking day life, and they may be under review at this point. And I do feel a lot of you are walking beyond the wound and really leveling up and getting to a point you're tackling the things that need addressing. I do feel during this time you may have a concern relating to both home, family, and finances, but I am seeing this transit to be quite a positive one for you. Many of you can be taking very large steps, and this can be a very positive change. I also see that you may be looking at and dealing with subjects relating to siblings, and during this transit there can be things that come about that are linking to siblings, because we do have Mars in your 12th house, in the house of Cancer. You may find that wounds that you held very close to your chest and how you felt to do with these things, it might have been the give and take. It may have been the value people put on you versus other individuals, and really getting to a place where you're looking at how it directly impacted you. You may be having to tackle it head on. If there's nothing you can do in relation to this, and we do need to be really mindful that we're not combative this month, because Mars in Cancer is in its detriment and it can cause conflict. If you can avoid situations that are testing and you know it to be an area, really dealing with that head on, not necessarily that we can change it, but be mindful that people may be more moody, so you may not get the outcome that you're wanting. But if you know it to be an issue and you can avoid it, do such. If you do have children, you may have concerns in relation to the bigger picture, and a lot of this may be under review. This can be what schools they're going to, how their education is going. We are going to be having the eclipse in Sagittarius this month, which I will do in the second report. And later on I may incorporate these in one video depending on how things go. But there is going to be an eclipse in Sagittarius, and for you this does link to your 5th house. This can be anything in relation to your money, your well-being, being able to have the luxuries, being able to tap into hobbies. It can be a very lucrative time for you to be doing such, but if you are going to start anything, you're better to do it in the first 2 weeks than wait to mid-month, because we are having Mercury retrograde. So if there is something you're needing to complete and really balance things out, is a great time. Now, some areas in relation to home and family, you may have more clarity. So if something was hidden from you, it may be revealed during this time, especially after the full moon in Scorpio. We also have Pluto retrograde, so if it is affecting your health, really paying attention to that. And for those of you that did know you were feeling a bit off, or you need to get your diet in order, I do feel a lot of you are changing the way you are finding balance, and I do feel it's due to the stress levels of work potentially and what you were doing, be it was study or be it was your career. I do feel some of these things can be directly addressed now, and it can ease up. Do bear in mind that these sudden changes can bring about tension, but it can be beautifully exciting at the same time. Onto your career sector and then your finances. Leo, now your career sector is super interesting. The beautiful thing is, if you were working from home, there may have needed to be a bit of a change about, and this may have been new routines ways you were dealing with things, wounds relating to home and family, and trying to balance those things. I do feel a lot of you were really needing more privacy, so that may have been a problem, especially if you are currently working from home. At a separate level, if that is so, you may find during this time you will be having the money to create that space to be able to do such. Others of you, this can be receiving new employment or even generating more income. I do feel many of you will be looking at your appearance. This can be working in the element of beauty, but very separately, you may be looking at upgrading technology, upgrading your environment, changing things about, and definitely earning more income. For others of you, if you are looking for employment, it is a really great time to put the resume out, especially between now and mid-month. It may become a little bit more testing by mid-month after such, because we will be having Mercury retrograde, and networking may become a little bit more difficult and you may have more burdens on your hand. Try to not overburden yourself this month. This is one of those transits where we move into it to make sure that we have all hands on deck. We will have Saturn, the Lord of Responsibility, in retrograde. We have Pluto retrograde. And all these things are quite positive. They're going to show us new ways we can change things about to have more success. So they're not necessarily going to be a negative thing. I always tend to find they're a bit tedious, but they also provide quality. And quality assessments set you up for more success. If there are things in relation to family really weighing on your mind, or you're feeling you can't be successful, balance the yellow chakra, because you do have Mars in Cancer. On your 12th house, you may be feeling guilt or trying to juggle things between family, home, and work, and that can really be grating on your nerves. So if you can create a quality system and address some of those areas, you're more grounded to be able to tackle the things that you need to address. I think really spiritually, we need to love what we're doing. And I do feel if you're really loving what you're doing, you're willing to pour the energy into it. And really this transit in 2021 is really showing us such. If something doesn't feel it resonates with us, it'll start crumbling, because it directly doesn't resonate, okay? If it does, you're going to do everything you can to quality assure it and really move towards it. Your body will always tell you. So if you feel that something isn't working for you, now would really be the time to start taking those steps and do that shift. And this can be a really great time to land new positions with pay rises. Let's have a look at your financial domain, both the expenses and the incomings, and how this bi-monthly can affect that area. Now, I always find manifestation of the cash component really does come to heart chakra. So you guys do have a lot of flux surrounding finances. Number one, because you are Leo, and number two, because your career sector is in the house of Taurus, which is heart chakra. I do feel you guys do have a lot of luck surrounding your career field this month. And if you do have faith in yourself and you can move beyond the wounds, you will have a lot more to give. Some of you may actually guilty spend, and it can be due to your schedule, and try to keep that in balance. A lot of times when we value something, it's because we've worked, we've worked hard to get such, and that comes down to both our kin as well. So there's different ways we can show love and understanding. And one thing is towards ourselves is that, we all have requirements and obligations. We can show love in different ways. And we can give support to our loved ones in various ways as well. People potentially can be emotional this month. And so sometimes from a psychological point of view, we do the best we can to cope. And this can be buying luxuries for loved ones based on guilt. Venus element of things to show love onto another person. Something as simple as a hug can help. Something as simple as you're important and you're worthy can help. And even towards ourselves, really in a balanced sense. I do feel many of you can have a lot of people from the past coming back, and your hobbies and your go-tos are going to be coming back. So this can be really your social crowd can be building. You may find that you're moving away from old crowds and moving towards new ones, and definitely your hopes and dreams are changing. So the expense factor may come down to home. It also can be upgrading of wardrobes, and definitely white goods and electrical goods, but you're best to purchase them in the first 2 weeks of this month and then wait. And I mean, you can't stop living. i.e. it doesn't mean we won't socialize. It doesn't mean we won't be going on trips and things to that degree. You definitely can find that because Sagittarius is in your 5th house, you may be spending on family members, siblings, children, creative projects. This can also be for your expansion. It may be having to invest in things. This can be your education for your creative projects, which isn't a negative thing, it's a positive. But really look back to last year, around May, and what was happening around then, and see how far you've come. And we're really closing a cycle and beginning a brand new one with all those learnings when it does come to the 11th house placement for you. And why do I mention the 11th house? Because we do have your hopes, dreams and aspirations there. So when we talk about nodes in astrology, it's not necessarily that we're moving away from the south node and moving towards the north node. You guys are balancing both, but you're learning new ways to do such. That can be with your growth, with your hopes and dreams, with your career aspirations and your money, and different ways to do such in a more positive, more valid way where we are right now. If you are wanting to move home, this can be a time to really look at things, come to terms with things, and you may find as we progress forward, you will be taking those steps. So as I mentioned, that notepad analogy I use is really handy. Use the time after a full moon to release the old. Then moving towards the new moon, really you're going to have that anticipation, that logic of what you'd need to do. For some of you, this can be in the financial domain and your career. Maybe you want to take that step first to address the other areas in life. So however it's playing out for you, I feel there is a financial element involved, as well as you feeling worthy enough to be able to achieve these things. And I really do feel you'll be able to tackle those areas, and the writing will be on the wall of what you're wanting to do. So money will go towards that domain, wardrobe upgrades, beauty upgrades, health upgrades, and getting a place to get your work done, or a sacred space for you. This can be your own personal home as well, or changes. Some of you also at a very separate level may be looking for security at home, and that can be security devices, things to protect yourself, astrologically speaking. More an astrological thing than a I'm predicting thing. Let's have a look at your health domain. Okay, Leo, onto the area of health. Now, I would say, because we are having Saturn retrograde this month, tension and responsibilities inside of your commitments can feel a lot. So really eating food groups that are going to balance, really not doing other people's jobs, allowing the responsibility to be where it falls, but you may have some guilt in relation to how much you can do. Especially when it does come to family and your commitments, you may have a lot on your mind. Really speaking your truth, getting yourself grounded and not overburdening yourself can help. I do feel at a social level you can be more active, and you also may be exercising at the moment and have the vitality to do such. You do have a lot of commitments this month, and from your foundational sense you may be finding very unique ways to make those dreams happen. Some of you, there are some paperwork related areas that need addressing and healing relating to the past, but I do feel you actually having a lot of goals and a lot of things on your mind. So I do see diet and nutrition coming into order. I also feel that many of you, if you are working very hard, sometimes it can be something as simple as making meals on the weekend, and that can be if we've got a very busy schedule, making some key meals in the refrigerator to take some of that pressure off us during the month. And it also can be something as simple as simplifying home, having the basics out, simplifying the wardrobe, really beautifying your domain, or having a scarred space that you can get grounded in. But sometimes the less we have out, the more effective we are in our working day life. And I do feel it's really required at this point because you have a lot going on. Many of you can be really finalizing study, or even looking at going into a new domain and upskilling again. And this is a very positive time to do such. But really look at the obligations inside it and how much you're committed to it. If you don't feel something resonates with you, don't invest in it yet. You're far better to wait till after Mercury retrograde, where you can have less on your plate, but you should know by then really what those domains are. Although I will cover it in the other report that is for the other bi-monthly side, I will say you can be very social this month. A lot of people might be wanting a piece of you, Leo. So really pay attention to your time management. Your throat chakra can be coming up. If we're very tired, we may be a bit more snappy. This can also be in group environments. If there are things that need addressing, really dealing with that and acknowledging what it is to avoid the conflict if possible, or to address it so that it can simmer down. I do also see friends from the past and people coming back from the past wishing to speak to you in the area of your friendship, love, commitments, and this can be blasts from the past as well. So pay attention to that. And really looking at the responsibilities inside of connections can take some stress off your back. But definitely taking accountability where it falls, but not overburning yourself. Really finding self-forgiveness, doing the best you can, and really creating healthy boundaries by admitting what we can and can't do at this point in time. Keep grounded. I do see you guys getting super fit at the moment and really looking after yourselves, which is great. Pamper yourself when need be, and there is a beautiful opportunity during the Taurus full moon to have a heart clearing and to be able to manifest some of those hopes and dreams and put the work into it. So if one of those goals was to look the best version you could be, I really see that being a huge potential for you guys. On to the emotional report through the moon phases. Okay, from the 1st to the 2nd, we have the moon transiting Capricorn. Now, this is base chakra. Really pay close attention to your back, making sure that your home environment is very stable, and also not overdoing things at home. If it's affecting your health and you need to let things go, it's better to get grounded, take your shoes off. If other people need to pick up slack, get them to pick up slack, but you can be a little bit emotional. If you feel ungrounded and unwell, always seek medical advice, always go and see a professional. But this is very much things that we're needing to let go of at an emotional level can come up, and our nervous system directly can be affected during the first 4 days of the month. On the 3rd and the 4th, we have the moon transiting Aquarius, and we are having Saturn retrograde this month, so we already will be feeling that. It's retrograding May the 23rd, which I do have in the report towards the end of the video, which will be up next. So I would say both the crown chakra, eat the healthy food groups, drink fluid, be careful of caffeine in the first 2 days. If you're needing to get grounded, really anchoring your body in by taking your shoes off. This can be guided meditation, the food groups in those areas. And our nervous system can be quite shocked. And this can be through changes. I also feel a lot of you can be maybe even romanticizing and really tapping into how you feel to do with all your connections. This also can be in the realm of employment and what the burdens and responsibilities are. Now, through any of these moon phases, if you are in the area you're supposed to be, you're going to flow effectively. You may have more work in those areas. You may be focused more so in these areas. It depends on where your vibe is if you're in alignment. So we will get on to the next phase, which is the moon transiting Pisces. Now, we do have Jupiter in Pisces this month, and again, it is crown chakra. For you guys, it is linking to your 9th house. Now, it is where your wounds are. So really, I would say between the 5th and the 9th, be careful of Aries and Chiron, because you do have the 9th. Both of them are Aries, okay? So wounds, emotions, feelings. You might feel a little bit more frizzle, so be careful of speaking your mind, and also a great time to journal. It is base chakra. It's how you're feeling safe. It's also having the faith in yourselves. Values can come up. And we may be a little bit projectile. So not necessarily is it a bad thing if it's aspecting correctly and you're not allowing the past to define you. It can be very positive. And the beautiful thing is we do have Aries and Chiron there for 7 years. So for each of us, all of us in the world, we're all going to have an opportunity to move beyond the wound so the glass ceiling is breakable. And what do I mean by that? It's so we can move beyond our 3D notion of what we're capable of and way into a very larger dynamic of what we have never experienced before. So this is a positive test. Move through it, get grounded. If you do need coaching, I do have emergency bookings and I do have the booking system on the webpage. All the links are directly below. Now, from the afternoon of the 9th through till the 12th, we do have the moon transiting Taurus, and on the 11th, it's the new moon in Taurus. This is your career sector. This is anything you're directly working on. It's also money, value, beauty, exercise. It's all those Venus attributes, but it's also happening in your own world and where you have the power. Emotionally moving into this, it can be very heart-centered. It is very much heart chakra. And the best way, as I mentioned, to manifest, if you are concerned about the cash component, it's really having the house clean. It's really clear house, clear mind. The exterior always represents our internal. Eating healthy food groups, very much nervous energy can come up. But it can be very elating and exciting. And of course, anything new that happens, we can always be nervous, and it's okay to experience that. You're definitely going to find healthier ways to deal with emotions this month. And I do feel this to be a very positive thing. Some of you can really be looking at the nice things that you're wanting to have, looking at what you're wanting to achieve, maybe anticipating the air of change. But it is heart chakra, nevertheless. Great place to manifest from. Prior to any manifestation, I always say, have a look at the moon phases. It's better to release of a void moon and complete than during a void moon. Try to eliminate manifesting on void moons, not the best of times. Now, from the 13th through to the 14th, we have the moon transiting Gemini. Now, this is very throat chakra and third eye. You may experience a lot of energy coming through in your vitality. You may get confused by people's communication. You also may, at a drop of a hat, have things play out that are calling upon you. And this can be to do with your career. It can be the requirements you have to address. It also can be invitations from loved ones and people wanting to talk to you, interact with you and socialize. And it is a very positive time to do such. But more by mid-month, I'd say be fluid with those things. It's better to more have these spontaneous meetings than trying to fix it in and controlling it. Really allow things by mid-month to go with the flow. Be open to that. Like I said, in the communication domain, however that is playing out for you, if you're feeling tense and stressed, Mars and Cancer on your 12th house can cause tension and verbal diarrhea, and we can hold things up in our mind and not ever let go of it. So pay attention how things are going. You know, if you've got too much on your plate, yes, you're going to be tense. Be in awareness of such. Then create space at a later point to get grounded. But the communication, there can be a lot going on in that day. You may have emotions relating to it. So just tune into how it transits for you. Caution on the road, and things should proceed fine. Now, from the afternoon of the 17th through to the 19th, we have the moon transiting Leo, which is your first house. You may be really reflecting upon your style, how people see you, how you relate to individuals, and this could be a very pleasant energy. This also can be a deeply reflective energy. You may be checking into how you feel. Take some time for yourself. Be in awareness that it'll be transiting your first house. Sometimes we can be super tense. Sometimes we can feel innately like ourselves, and it can come through selfishly sometimes. So it will be in your first house. If you do feel a little bit tense during that time, just be in awareness that it is because the moon is transiting your first house. Try not to take things personal. Enjoy the energy, and we're going to get into the key dates astrologically. They'll be on the screen. I do explain what these things are that are happening, as well as important dates and fantastic dates to know. So without further ado, let's have a look. Hi guys, welcome back. Okay, this is your bi-monthly energy update astrologically. Now, I am going to mention the tedious energies of where the placements are. Okay, we do have the new moon occurring on the 11th in the house of Taurus. The sun also currently is in Taurus and it will enter Gemini on the 20th. Mercury is in the house of Taurus and it will be entering the house of Gemini on the 9th and going into shadow retrograde by mid-month. Mars also is in the house of Cancer until June the 11th. So bear that in mind when it comes to your emotions. We're also going to be having Venus in Taurus up until the 9th, where it will transit into the house of Gemini. That can be where we are going to be super busy, but we will need this flexibility to be playful and to be ourselves and not be controlling. We're also towards mid-month 26 going to be having the total lunar eclipse in the house of Sagittarius. Now, the Astrology Big Boss states is the place where you need to be mindful of retrogrades and major transits. Jupiter will be entering the house of Pisces on the 13th of May 2021, and it can give you themes of what's going to happen in 2022. So it's a very important time to be having a look at those areas. Now, we will start feeling Saturn going into shadow by about the 15th, but you can potentially feel it earlier. It is occurring on the 23rd of May and it will go direct to the 1st. Pluto is also in retrograde in the house of Capricorn until the 6th of October. We also have, last but not least, Mercury in Gemini going into shadow by mid-month in the house of Gemini. So a lot of action, a lot of movement, some frustration, pre-warned, forearmed. Now, for your astrology best boss dates, we do have the 9th. Allow love to be fluid and be playful. On the 11th, deep clearing of emotions through actions and relations and relationships. On the 13th, make your dreams come true with beautiful aspects to Neptune. On the 1st to the 15th, get your resumes out and hold on to your hats as Mercury goes into shadow retrograde. Now, these are the astrology hard boss dates, but they're also very quickly some things to be very mindful of during this month and beyond. With Mars in Cancer, we can be guided to be quite emotional, and if we're suppressing things, we can be more upset and aggressive in nature. We also, with Mercury going retrograde, can have some confusion and need to slow down, especially when traveling. Cross all the T's, dot all the I's, and breathe. Now, the 2nd of May, caution with speech and travel, but be on the ball. On May the 11th, emotions and triggers can get the best of us, so try to avoid control. With Pluto and Capricorn retrograde until the 6th, we can feel a little bit nervous when it does come to endings and be coming to term with those things. Use it as a quality system. On the 14th, plan ahead, double check and read all your documents, keep your receipts as Mercury in the house of Gemini goes into shadow retrograde. Yes, we do have additional updates during the week, which is the Psychic Love Updates, live every Friday, Western Australian time. Now, here is the website should you wish to have a booking. Very easy to navigate through. The link is directly below. There is also an informative video to give you instructions of how to use the website. Again, if you do have any issues, inbox me and I can help you navigate through. We do have various readings, which is video, Skype, email, and any other real areas that you wish to have. Just inbox me as per request, as well as emergency bookings. Very separately, I do update you via the website, so if you do sub the website, you get notifications as to specials. See you live on Friday for the Twin Flame update, Western Australian time. For America, it will be Thursday PM. Take care.